It is so by U.C. Poika. It is so, page 1. To begin with, we did not know you, for you were as nothingness to us. We looked for you among the possibilities, and you were not among them. You cannot be, and yet you are. You are invisible to our eyes. Our ears cannot hear your voice. We cannot touch you. You have no detectable odor. And if we were to taste you, we would not know you were in our mouths. But you are there. If you were not there physically, it would be all the same to our senses, for they are useless in finding you. I said I would find you by reason. The greatest minds pored over the tomes in the hope someone had already found you and missed you. They all had, even those looking for you. They all were blind. Even the one they said was your son could not find you. The great philosophers took up the cause and examined existence itself and did not find you. They came up with many possibilities, but all of them failed to prove you ever had been or ever would be. Science was frustrated and turned to vain theories to put their stock in refining their senses. You are not .999 ad infinitum. You are not irrational in the slightest. You are one, and you were one before your son realized you were one, before anyone else realized you were. Yet you were. We have looked everywhere. We know you cannot be. You are an impossibility. There is no chance left. The possibilities have been exhausted. There is only one possibility left, but we have no way of knowing you. You must be somewhere in the background, not in the words on the page, not in the paper or even the screen they are written on. You know these things, even as you knew us before we were ever to be. Nothing is what we think it to be. But if we do not know you, cannot sense you, and cannot even in our wildest imagining think you into being, how can you be? We are left to believe the information of things which had no previous existence as proof of your existence, or to reject that as the mere rationalizations of befuddled minds, and yet we are as you are. We can prove we exist simply by believing it ourselves and having others verify it in their belief. If we were a tree falling in the forest with no one to hear it, would I make a noise to prove I existed? If I were a rock so large that you cannot lift it, would it prove you existed? Are you what you are, and you cannot change that? Even if you die, you will remain what you are, and you know what you are. All you must do is to do what you must do. Believe it. I do. You miraculously made everything. Everything is evidence of that miracle. And you could turn it all back into what it was and forget it ever had been. You could destroy it, but you will not, for you are not the destroyer, but the creator. Another destroys and destroys even itself in the end. Just as I believe you are, and you believe I am, so I too also believe the event will occur where he begs you to forget he ever existed. Do I believe in error? You say I am bluffing. Is God? Then I am not bluffing. Can you see God and it not be a miracle? Can you see a miracle and not have the dead attempt to explain it away? But you are a miracle. Can you explain that away to your satisfaction? The question of your existence is not, do you exist, But at what point must I admit, if existence is, that I am? When you can no longer see God, examine yourself. If you exist, He does. If He does not exist, and this is silly, you do not exist. But you know that no matter what you think, there comes a time when you have to stop doubting your existence and yield to what you know has no logical proof. You exist. Something had to cause your existence, but many things exist without any apparent cause. Every miracle that ever existed, for example. Does anyone but God truly do miracles? Do they do miracles on earth? Do they perform miracles in heaven? God is the greatest miracle of all miracles, the miracle that all true miracles point to. Even the devil himself is proof God exists. To usurp God's power, he must hide. He must, in the end, deny he is God or prove he does not exist. Either one is proof of the one true God. Is not the counterfeit proof of the real McCoy? He must believe in God, or God will deny him. He killed God already, but it could not last. It was only a facade. He is a liar. Shall he tell the truth about himself? If he did, who would believe him but the dead? I believe he exists for a time, but only for a time. I too will be glad to be rid of him. When he is fully known, even a fool would not look for him. He will be alone forever, and no one will care to find out whether he existed in the first place or not. Is it not so already? Is he not the first to have fallen, and has not he finally died in everyone's eyes? Surely it is not long. His tracks are all over the place. Surely he will be found, and soon. Even he knows this. Has God told me this? Did he need to? Do you not know it is true, even as I do? Does it make sense to you as it does to me? It makes sense to the devil. Watch him squirm like the worm that he is. God knows it is true. And like every miracle, God is a given. Who can resist him? No one, not even Satan. It is so. It is so, page 2. It is so. You are there. You know you are. We have been searching for you, and now we have found you. You read our essay. It is so don't deny it. You read it, and you understood it. So now what? Your destiny is under your control. You can do something with it, or you can waste the opportunity forever. We stand between you and them, just you, not some superpower with guns and tanks and missiles and bombs and even nuclear weapons. Just one supreme being, one divine deity, one, what shall we say that I am? One essayist and the truth. They don't have a chance of reaching you. They can kill you. They can perform all sorts of physical acts trying to intimidate you, to change your mind, to make you lie. Lie? I don't care. I probably would if I were you. Lie to them if you are not safe saying you believe the truth. That is between you and your conscience. If you can live with your conscience and lie, go ahead. We are all liars, for the truth is so hard to bear. Their lies they must protect, for they can go away so easily. They can fly away unnoticed like a gnat on an elephant's back. They are all tricks and illusion. What I said in It Is So was the truth. It connects you and them to reality. The only truth they know that can accomplish this is to reveal the truth about themselves, which is that they too are liars. I can forgive you lying and saying you do not know what we know that you do, or saying that you do when you do not. You are what you are. You must do what you must do to protect yourself. But you cannot help but be either mindless or having a mind. You can know we are real, or you can know you are for real and refuse to believe what you know. It will not affect me. It will not affect Eloah or even God. We have affected you, your mind, your soul, and now you know even your body has been placed in a place where it is in danger because of the truth from you, from others who are liars like you, even from the devil himself. But you do not need a body to live. If you off yourself rather than change your beliefs before people or in reaction to what we have told you, you will yet be. I will know you are. You will know you are. And they will know what you are, you liar. If you are killed because you would not lie or stop telling others the truth, that is between you and them, and Eloah, now, and even God and his Son. You know God has a son. I know God has a son. Everyone who says that is not the case is a liar or does not know what he is talking about. And any demon or devil that says that it is not so is like Satan, a liar. So very similar to mere men and yet so hopelessly unlike the Supreme Being, the divine deity. There is nothing divine about them. They are hardly supreme. Those of you who say such things, are you not liars like your fathers were liars before you? Surely you are all sons of the liar. If you believe what I have published on the web, and it is so, what are you going to do with that truth? Even if you do nothing, it is to have done something, and denying it is only to do nothing with it. What can you do? Do that. I am not yet sorry I wrote my essay, but the truth came to me. What could I do? Had I stepped in doggy diarrhea, would my foot not smell had I entered the hospital afterward? Covered with orange dye, could I deny I was ever in the bank? It is not my fault. Take it up with the truth. He is responsible. Once I was ignorant and therefore free. Then came the truth, and I am no longer ignorant, and I am only free to do what I know, understand what I understand, and do what I can do with him. Now I cannot deny him, but I can hate him, or I can love him. There is no in-between. He stands between me and you. He stands between you and me. We cannot get to each other, but through him. If he loves you and you hate him, will he bar the gate between you? If he loves you and you love him, he will bar the gate if I do not love him. But if I too love him, surely he will not bar the gate between us, but join us in his love. Therefore hate me if that is the most you can manage, but love me even a little, and I will appreciate it. He will also. You love yourself only? Good luck with that. Goodbye. It is so, page 3. Once I was without understanding, a child who did not know mother or father. I did not even know my own name, nor had I thought about such things. Before that, there was a time when neither my mother nor father considered accepting the choices that led to my birth, the sharing of my father's sperm with my mother's ovum. At some time before that, birth was a choice of human ancestry and human decision, but before that, Elohim, before that, Eloah, the same as God and Jehovah, the divine being and supreme being. Then as a child searches out his mother and knows not why, driven by physical needs and emotional needs, I came to know her. Before I could speak, I knew her. Before I cried my first cry, I knew her as what was familiar. Even in her womb, I knew her. Knowing goes deeper than can be expressed, but there was a time when I knew nothing at all. Then I knew there was someone there. Though I knew nothing else, I knew that one was there. Even before I knew I was there, I knew that one. It was the same with my mother, my father, everyone in my family, extended family, everyone who ever existed, even that man from Nazareth. We all know Eloah before we knew ourselves. Surely God and Jehovah are names for Eloah and Elohim, that part of Eloah we later came to know. Not that he is not one, but that we see him as if he were more than one. Because each of us sees something different that is actually the same one. It is us who are different. Let us realize he is totally unique. But the point is, there is more to him than I may know, more than I can understand, more than I can feel, more than I can communicate, more than I can sense. We know things about him we cannot know, for he was before knowing, and we know he was before he knew anything spiritual or physical. Before he had a thought or a feeling, he was. And as it is with us, so is it with him. He knew us with his first feeling. He knew us with his first thoughts. And he knew we would be physically and that he would become physical, spiritual, and mental. At the onset of the spiritual, he knew you and me and everyone who would ever come to pass. Even should he stop knowing, yet will he be. Even if he stops being able to understand, yet will he be. And way beyond when he was physical, he yet has to be again. All of my life I have sensed him in my spirit. I have understood who he is, and that he will be physical again. I have known him. You have known him. All have known him. He is the one who is around when no one else is around and your mind is not on you, and you are not considering your body. Though you may, he will not leave you, whether you consider it, without regard for how you feel about him or yourself, and even when you completely ignore him, he is there, until there is no other way that he can be. Who and what he is will not desert you. Bodies die, minds cease, but spirits never cease once they begin. They must be cut off and die one to the other, always being in a sense. But if no one knows again of the existence, to them it is dead. Therefore, those whose bodies are not to be sensed, whose thoughts are of no consequence, and whose presence is no longer even to the Elohim, then they are not to anyone else either, but maybe them who they wish they were not known by. God, Jehovah, Eloah, is nothing if he is not known. But he is who he is even then, and worthy of being sought out, if for no other reason than to know one is not alone, potentially, forever. Even when he died, he was able to find his way back, and back among the living he was received by as many as knew him and loved him before, by as many who found him and loved him. He lives. Even those who rejected him know this about him, and in the end, though to them he is dead, They know it need not have been that they chose by their own wills to know him. Are you dead? Can you feel him no longer? If he remembers you, then who can stop him from resurrecting you? His Son will not. When he remembers you, then you will be again. Are you dying? There is no reason to fear. He will be there like he was before you knew it. If he loved you, and you loved him back, how can he forget you even if you do die for a time? He will resurrect you. Are you evil? Repent before it is too late. Admit you know God. For in the beginning I knew him not. He was nothing to me, for I knew not how to know anything, yet he was. Even in such profound spiritual darkness he was. Before I saw any light at all, he was in that darkness, moving just beyond my senses, existing beyond my knowledge and before my ability to reason. I sensed him in the darkness. I could not see him, but I knew he was there. The light of understanding then came to me, and I understood he must be the one they called God. Then someone witnessed of his Son, and I knew him, that he must be the one God was to become, like us in every way, but God besides, and I rejected him out of jealousy. I knew him as Cain knew Abel, perhaps in jealousy and not in brotherly love, and I was cut off from heaven, and I had to live on earth to the east, if it means toward the future when I would find paradise. He grieved. Many years he grieved. The Father and the Son and the Spirit grieved. I went through hell, yet I persisted in jealousy, and yet they grieved. I know him now, and not as an enemy, but am I alive? I accepted him intellectually and emotionally, and remember the way I loved him when I was young. I have humbled myself and accepted as a gift from him for he took me to the brink, showed me the way, but left it up to me to go the rest of the way. I am alive. I yet sin, but I am alive. I love fiction, and increasingly I love truth more. However, in the end of it, I am a man, and only a man. Who will save me from this struggle with my flesh? I believe Jesus can, but will I be accepting when the time comes to throw this world away? I am no longer in darkness. I am no longer in hell on earth. I am alive on earth. Such a bewildering place. God, you have saved me. Renew the process. Amen. I have not fallen irreparably so. Copyright 2013 UC Boyka.